The H-1B lottery for fiscal year 2027 opens March 4, 2026, and for the first time in history, USCIS is using a wage-weighted selection system that could quadruple your chances, or cut them by 75%. Registration closes March 19th at noon Eastern, and if you miss this 15-day window, you're out for an entire year. But you must watch until the very end, because at 13:15, I'm revealing the one salary mistake that could drop you from level 3 wages to level 1 and destroy your lottery odds. 90% of employers don't catch this until it's too late. Miss this reveal, and you could waste $215 on a registration that never had a chance. Welcome to U.S. Immigration News Daily, your trusted source for the latest updates and expert guidance on U.S. immigration. Today we're breaking down everything you need to know about the H-1B 2027 lottery registration, the new wage-weighted system, exact deadlines, and how to maximize your selection odds. Why this matters. Here's why this announcement matters right now. On January 30th, 2026, USCIS announced that the fiscal year 2027 H-1B cap registration period will open at noon Eastern on March 4th and close at noon Eastern on March 19th, 2026. That's a 15-day window. But this isn't just another H-1B lottery. For the first time ever, USCIS is implementing a wage-weighted selection system effective February 27, 2026. What does that mean? Instead of every registration having an equal chance, your selection odds now depend on your wage level. Level 4 wages get 4 entries in the lottery. Level 3 gets 3 entries. Level 2 gets 2 entries. Level 1 gets 1 entry. If you're an F1 student on OPT hoping to stay in the US, an employer trying to hire international talent, or an H-1B worker extending your status, this changes everything. Your salary level isn't just about how much you get paid. It now directly controls whether you win the lottery. And with only 85,000 H-1B visas available and hundreds of thousands of registrations expected, understanding this new system is the difference between staying in the US and having to leave. Before we go deeper, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss critical H-1B updates. We post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern with the latest USCIS announcements and immigration policy changes. And I wasn't joking about watching until the very end. At 13:15, I'll reveal the salary calculation mistake that tanks your wage level. But at 14:45, I'll also reveal the one document you need to keep for 3 years after registration or risk fraud investigation. You need both pieces of information to protect your H-1B petition. So keep watching. These reveals could save your case. Main content. Part 1. Section 1. Registration timeline and key dates. Let's start with the exact timeline. The registration period opens March 4th, 2026 at noon Eastern Time. It closes March 19th, 2026 at noon Eastern Time. That gives you exactly 15 days to submit your registration. Here's what happens after registration closes. USCIS will conduct the weighted lottery selection. They intend to notify selected registrants by March 31st, 2026. If your registration is selected, you'll have from April 1st through June 30th, 2026 to file your complete H-1B petition using Form Y-129. If your petition is approved, your H-1B status begins October 1st, 2026, the start of fiscal year 2027. This is important. Even if you're selected in the lottery in March, you cannot start working in H-1B status until October 1st unless you're already in H-1B status and filing an extension or transfer. The registration fee is $215 per beneficiary. This fee is non-refundable, meaning even if you're not selected in the lottery, you don't get your $215 back. Employers must pay this fee for each worker they register, and you can only submit one registration per beneficiary. If you submit multiple registrations for the same person, all of them will be invalidated. Section 2. The new wage-weighted lottery system. Now let's talk about the biggest change, the wage-weighted selection process. Under the old system, every H-1B registration had an equal chance. It didn't matter if you were offering $60,000 or $160,000. Every registration was treated the same in the lottery. That's over. Starting with the FY 2027 lottery, USCIS uses Department of Labor wage levels to determine how many lottery entries you get. Here's how it works. The Department of Labor publishes prevailing wages for every occupation in every geographic area. These wages are divided into 4 levels. Level 1 is entry level. Level 2 is qualified. Level 3 is experienced. Level 4 is fully competent. Under the new system, if your offered wage qualifies as Level 1, you get 1 entry in the lottery. Level 2 gets 2 entries. Level 3 gets 3 entries. Level 4 gets 4 entries. Let me make this concrete with an example. Let's say you're a software developer in San Francisco. If your employer offers you $120,000 and that qualifies as Level 2 wages for your occupation and location, your registration gets entered into the lottery twice. Someone else doing the same job with a Level 4 wage offer of $180,000 gets entered 4 times. This doesn't guarantee selection, it's still a lottery, but it dramatically changes your odds. A Level 4 registration has 4 times the chance of being selected compared to a Level 1 registration. Here's the critical part that confuses people. Wage level is not just about how much money you're being paid. It's about how your offered wage compares to the Department of Labor's prevailing wage determination for your specific occupation in your specific geographic location. You could be making $150,000 as a data scientist in New York City and still only qualify for Level 2 wages if that's what the prevailing wage data shows for your position. Or you could make $95,000 as a registered nurse in rural Iowa and qualify for Level 4 because prevailing wages are lower in that location. Section 3. Who must register and how? Who needs to register for the H-1B cap? You need to register if you're filing an H-1B petition that's subject to the annual cap. This includes new H-1B petitions for workers who have never had H-1B status before, and it includes petitions for workers who previously had H-1B status but have been outside the U.S. for more than 1 year since their status ended. You do not need to register if you're filing an H-1B extension for someone already in H-1B status, an H-1B transfer from one employer to another, or an H-1B petition for someone who was previously counted against the cap and is cap exempt. How do you register? Employers must create a USCIS organizational account if they don't already have one. You cannot use an individual account. It must be an organizational account tied to the employer's EIN. During the registration period, the employer logs into their organizational account and enters information for each beneficiary they want to register. This includes the beneficiary's name, date of birth, passport information, country of citizenship, and importantly, the wage level and prevailing wage information for the offered position. You'll need to provide the standard occupational classification code, the wage level, 1, 2, 3, or 4, the worksite location, and the offered wage amount. USCIS will use this information to assign the correct number of lottery entries to each registration. After you complete the registration, you pay the $215 fee per beneficiary using a credit card, debit card, or ACH transfer. Once payment is confirmed, your registration is submitted. You'll receive a confirmation with a registration number. Keep this number. You'll need it if your registration is selected and you need to file the H-1B petition. If this breakdown is helping you understand the new H-1B system, please hit the like button. It helps more employers and workers find this critical information. And here's my question for you. Are you an employer registering workers for the H-1B lottery, or are you an F1 student hoping to be sponsored? Drop a comment below and let me know. Your feedback helps me create content that serves your needs. And remember, we're building toward 2 critical reveals. At 13:15, I'll show you the salary calculation mistake that drops your wage level. At 14:45, I'll tell you what document you must keep for 3 years. Don't miss either one. They could save your H-1B case from denial or fraud investigation. Main Content Part 2. Section 4. Determining your wage level. Let's dive into how to determine your wage level, because this is where most mistakes happen. Your wage level comes from the Department of Labor's Foreign Labor Certification Data Center. They maintain a database called the Online Wage Library, which contains prevailing wage determinations for every standard occupational classification code in every geographic area. Here's the step-by-step process. First, identify the correct SOC code for the position. The SOC code is a 6-digit code that describes the occupation. For example, 15-1252 is software developers, 29-1141 is registered nurses, 13-2011 is accountants and auditors. You need the correct SOC code because each code has different prevailing wages. Second, identify the geographic location where the work will be performed. Prevailing wages vary dramatically by location. A software developer in San Francisco has different prevailing wages than a software developer in Omaha, Nebraska. You use the specific city or metropolitan statistical area where the worker will be employed. Third, look up the prevailing wage for that SOC code in that location. The Department of Labor publishes 4 wage levels for each occupation in each area. You'll see the Level 1 wage, entry level, Level 2 wage, qualified, Level 3 wage, experienced, and Level 4 wage, fully competent. Fourth, compare your offered wage to these levels. If you're offering $120,000 and the prevailing wages show Level 1 is $95,000, Level 2 is $118,000, Level 3 is $142,000, and Level 4 is $165,000, your $120,000 offer falls into Level 2. That means you get 2 entries in the lottery. Here's what trips people up. The wage level is based on the offered wage at the time of registration, and it must match the wage you actually pay if the petition is approved. You cannot inflate the wage level during registration and then pay less after approval. USCIS requires evidence of the wage level during petition adjudication, and inconsistencies can result in denial or fraud referrals. Also, the wage must meet or exceed the prevailing wage for that level. If Level 2 prevailing wage is $118,000 and you offer $117,500, you don't qualify for Level 2. You drop down to Level 1 because you're not meeting the Level 2 threshold. Section 5. Master's cap versus regular cap. There are 2 separate H-1B caps, the regular cap of 65,000 visas and the master's cap of 20,000 visas. The master's cap is reserved for beneficiaries who have a master's degree or higher from a U.S. institution. Here's how the selection process works if you qualify for the master's cap. USCIS first runs a lottery for the master's cap using only registrations for beneficiaries with U.S. master's degrees or higher. If you're selected in this lottery, you're done. You don't need to be selected again. If you're not selected in the master's cap lottery, your registration automatically rolls over into the regular cap lottery. So you get 2 chances, first the master's cap, then the regular cap. If you only have a bachelor's degree or a foreign master's degree, you only get 1 chance. You're only in the regular cap lottery. The wage-weighted system applies to both lotteries. Whether you're competing for the master's cap or the regular cap, your wage level determines how many entries you get. A master's degree holder with Level 4 wages gets 4 entries in the master's cap lottery, and if not selected, 4 entries in the regular cap lottery. This is significant because it means U.S. master's degree holders with high wages have the best odds of all. They get multiple shots at the master's cap, and then multiple shots at the regular cap if needed. Section 6. What happens after selection? If your registration is selected, USCIS will send a notification through your organizational account by March 31, 2026. The notification will include a selection notice with details about filing the H-1B petition. You then have from April 1st through June 30, 2026 to file your complete H-1B petition. This is a hard deadline. If you miss June 30th, your selection expires and you cannot file an H-1B petition for fiscal year 2027. When you file the petition, you must submit Form Y-129, the H-1B data collection supplement, evidence of the beneficiary's qualifications, evidence of the job offer, and critically, evidence supporting the wage level you claimed during registration. USCIS will scrutinize the wage level. If you registered at Level 3 but your documentation only supports Level 2, your petition can be denied. If USCIS suspects you intentionally misrepresented the wage level to get better lottery odds, they can refer your case for fraud investigation. This is why accurate wage level determination at registration is so important. You're locked into whatever wage level you claim. If you get it wrong, you're either selected with odds you didn't deserve, fraud risk, or you're not selected when you should have been, lost opportunity. Here is the first reveal. All right, we've reached the first critical reveal at 13:15. Here's the salary calculation mistake that drops your wage level and kills your lottery odds. The mistake is using the wrong geographic area when looking up prevailing wages. Many employers think they should use the city where their main office is located. Wrong. You must use the geographic area where the beneficiary will actually perform the work. If your company headquarters is in San Francisco, but the H-1B worker will be working remotely from Austin, Texas, you use Austin's prevailing wages, not San Francisco's. This matters because prevailing wages in San Francisco are much higher than Austin. Let's say you offer $130,000. In San Francisco, that might only qualify as level 2 because wages are high. But in Austin, that same $130,000 might qualify as level 3 because prevailing wages are lower. If you mistakenly use San Francisco prevailing wages when the worker is actually in Austin, you're either understating your wage level, giving yourself worse lottery odds, or overstating it, committing fraud if you claim San Francisco level 3 when Austin data shows level 2. The Department of Labor is very specific. You use the prevailing wage for the actual worksite location, not your business headquarters, not where you file the petition, not where the worker currently lives, where they will physically perform the work after H-1B approval. Get this wrong and your entire registration is built on faulty data. Reveal number 2. Now for the second reveal at 14:45. Here's the document you must keep for 3 years, or risk fraud investigation. You must keep the prevailing wage determination documentation that supports the wage level you claimed during registration. This includes the Department of Labor online wage library printout showing the wage levels for your SOC code and location, the calculation showing how your offered wage falls into the claimed wage level, and any additional documentation supporting the wage amount. Why 3 years? Because USCIS can audit your H-1B petition at any time during the validity period. If your H-1B is approved for 3 years and in year 2 USCIS conducts a site visit or requests documentation, they will ask for proof that your wage level claim during registration was accurate. If you claimed level 3 during registration but you can't produce the prevailing wage data that supported that claim, USCIS will assume fraud. They'll investigate whether you inflated the wage level to game the lottery system. This can result in petition revocation, the worker losing H-1B status, and the employer being barred from filing future H-1B petitions. Keep the printout from the DOL wage library with the date you accessed it. Keep your wage calculation worksheet. Keep the job description and offer letter showing the wage amount. Store these documents with your H-1B petition records and don't discard them until 3 years after the H-1B status ends. This is not optional. The new wage-weighted system creates a fraud risk that didn't exist under the old random lottery. USCIS knows employers have incentive to inflate wage levels. They will check. Protect yourself by keeping the documentation. Main Content Part 3. Section 7. Final Reminders and Action Steps. Let me give you the action steps you need to take right now. If you're an employer planning to register for the H-1B 2027 lottery, verify you have a USCIS organizational account. If you don't, create one immediately. Don't wait until March 4th. Identify all the workers you plan to register. Gather their passport information, dates of birth, countries of citizenship, and education credentials. Determine the correct SOC code for each position and look up the prevailing wages for each worksite location. Calculate which wage level your offered wage falls into. Be conservative. If you're borderline between level 2 and level 3, use level 2 unless you're absolutely certain level 3 is accurate. Prepare to submit registrations as soon as the window opens on March 4th. You don't need to wait until the last minute. The lottery is random within each wage level, so registering on March 4th versus March 19th doesn't change your odds. But registering early protects you from technical issues, system crashes, or last-minute emergencies. If you're an F1 student hoping to be sponsored, talk to your employer now. Don't wait until March. Make sure they understand the new wage-weighted system and have calculated your wage level correctly. Ask them to show you the prevailing wage data so you know what to expect. Let's wrap up. The H-1B 2027 lottery registration opens March 4th and closes March 19, 2026. For the first time, USCIS is using a wage-weighted selection system where Level 4 wages get 4 lottery entries, Level 3 gets 3, Level 2 gets 2, and Level 1 gets 1. Your wage level is determined by Department of Labor prevailing wage data for your occupation and worksite location. The registration fee is $215 per beneficiary, non-refundable. Selected registrants must file H-1B petitions between April 1st and June 30th, 2026. H-1B status begins October 1st, 2026. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. For specific questions about your H-1B registration, consult a licensed immigration attorney. If this breakdown helped you, please subscribe to U.S. Immigration News Daily for H-1B updates every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Check out our playlist on employment-based visas for more H-1B content. Drop a comment below with your questions about the new wage-weighted system, and I'll see you in the next video with more immigration news that affects your future in the United States.